I want to talk a bit more about Web3. Welcome to this new edition of this podcast that I'm making. I've started this a few days ago now. This is probably the third recording that I'm doing. My name is Jean-Philippe DIEL. I am, by trade, I'm a marketer, so you can address all your complaints against the marketing department to me. I'm a geek, I'm a nerd, I'm a crypto enthusiast of late, actually. I don't own any crypto assets, or very few. I don't have massive amounts of reserves in crypto. I did not suffer for the market crash that's happening right now. So I haven't really had any crypto bangs. I'm just a, normal Gen X person, really, that is dabbling in technology, interested in technology. I believe in the good that technology can bring and improving people's lives. My career, I have marketed a lot of different things. I started in the FMCG industry, that is fast moving consumer goods for you. And in particular, I worked in the beverage industry and alcohol industry with Heineken. That was my sort of formative years. I sort of learned how to market through a network. Beer, and I'm not talking of supermarket scenarios, is sold to a distributor that has a sales force that goes into a point of sale, and you put the beer on the tap or on the shelf, and that point of sale owner will sell the beer to an end consumer. So you never really sell directly to an end consumer, you do it through a network. That kind of got me to the mobile phone industry, strangely, which has a very similar model. And I switched over in 2001. 2001. Worked for Alcatel, worked for a startup company called Sendo, which was the first smartphone company to really make waves with Windows CE. And they had to a tragic end. Unfortunately, they had a bit of a fight with Microsoft, settled and got sold out. I think, was it Sony Ericsson or Siemens or someone took over, can't remember who there was. I was gone by then. Came to beautiful New Zealand, chasing love. It's all about the love about all work that makes you travel the world. I'm a traveler. I traveled for love. I settled here. That has kind of moved on now. I won't go into my very poor track record of relationships. This isn't the point of this broadcast, but I don't take myself seriously, so you see the smile on my face. I've moved on, and I have a new life now. So turn the page. Technology is still on, and after working for Samsung as GM marketing, I started my own marketing company, the Ripple Hub. And did a whole bunch of new experiments with different parts of the world of marketing. I have been a distributor. I've marketed software. I've marketed, full back on my feet, I guess. Did a lot of promotional stuff, merchandising in store. I really love retail. I've marketed a lot of products in retail, a lot of advice to retailers. I even designed retail concepts and point of sale material. And I ended up as a consultant, solo consultant, helping people with digital transformations and how to embrace what's happening out there and how to, automate their marketing a little bit better, doing CRM solutions and e-commerce solutions, and how do we bring all this data in, and how do we embrace this change to actually improve consumer engagement is really what's been at the core of my activities from Heineken all the way to now. Back to this podcast. I hope bringing something to the table. I think there's a lot of people like me who don't necessarily understand all the in and outs of technology transformation and digital transformation. And to me, the ultimate digital transformation that's happening right now is the change around cryptocurrencies, what we now call Web3, what we now call the Metaverse. Thanks to Zuckerberg and his endeavors with Facebook and changing the company name to Meta. And I'm hoping I can sort of demystify a little bit of that and bring some new things to the table. Sorry, I'm just negotiating that turn. Off we go. So I want to talk a bit more about Web3, right? It's a concept at the moment. We've touched on it in the previous podcast. Web 1 is read. Web 2, read and write. Web 3, read, write, and own them. That's really what's got me going. And this concept is not mine. That's a concept from A16Z. They're pretty good VCs out there, and they propose mental models to understand this new technology transformation that we're going through. Read, write, own. And we talked about NFTs and what they bring in the previous episode. The NFTs are a token, they're a rights holder certificate of some sort. It's a marriage of multimedia and your VIP loyalty card in a way, right? Now I want to talk about in this crypto world. I mean, you will dive into it, and maybe I'm not the right podcast for this, and you can look at people like Bankless, my good friend Sam Kamani in New Zealand has a very good Web3 podcast and Web3 gaming and all sorts of things. You look at all things around decentralized finance. I'm not a good finance guy. I don't really particularly like finance. I'm not going to be in crypto for making a quick buck. That is not what interests me. I mean, these guys are gone full, it's almost a religion for them. You listen to that and you think you're listening to, traders on Wall Street. It's all filled with acronyms with 3 letters, etc. Now they're a bit quieter with both the downturn that's going on at the moment and crypto markets crashing down to the bottom. My view on this is that in some ways there's been some digression. A lot of these things didn't bring value and didn't have any intrinsic value. I think the market fundamentals of crypto are not at the stake. The reason for being of crypto, the actual way it's built, that the benefits that it brings, and the new business models that can emerge from that technology, all of that is not in discussion. What kind of failed is all these things that have built more like a Ponzi scheme or pyramid scheme. They had no intrinsic value to it, and those are getting cleansed down right now. And of course, because a lot of that market as players which were in it for a quick buck, they were quickly out as well. So that generated network effects, provocating a fall in the value of the market. But if you look in the long run, I don't think the crypto is going to disappear. I think it's here to stay. I think the business models that are emerging from it are very interesting, and I think they're also here to stay. So one of the things that I'd like to talk about is decentralized autonomous organization. That is what we call the DAO. That is, best I can explain this, is probably something like a co-op model. It's governance is important. To a board of directors. We all understand governance in the normal analog world, where you've got a company, you've got a CEO, and you've got a board of directors with some advisors and people who are knowledgeable in different areas, and they are here to provide support and keep the companies on its toes as well in terms of ethics and sustainability and all sorts of things that are important for the company to operate in its environment. Well, how about we have this in a crypto world, a digitally native people holding a token that actually gives them a right to vote. Now, the DAOs out there are going through the same problems that the real world is going through. Look at voters in a democracy. They're totally unengaged. There's big issues. They don't go vote. They don't understand what to vote for. They don't feel they have enough information. There's voters' apathy, right? If you suddenly open the doors and you have this digital organization that's a DAO, and you give people a token, just drop it off to them, and they right now you can vote on your future in this organization. They go like, great, but I don't feel I know enough. I don't feel I'm entitled to vote. Why have I got a token? I don't know. Sounds great, but actually they don't turn up, they don't vote. Okay, and then you have a what they call a big whale, or in crypto, it's like you have a big corporate who owns a lot of tokens, and they have all the votes, or majority of votes, and so they rule that stuff. Well, these are the same pains that are in the analog world. Welcome to that, crypto. You're just discovered that giving people the right to vote is not enough. It doesn't engage them. It doesn't make them interested. Now, does this make DAOs obsolete, or does it render the whole exercise an experiment and it's useless and it's going to disappear? No, I don't think so. Now, what I see, amongst all the pain, what I see in DAOs is the ability to have a native digital economy with actors that have ownership over what's happening in that economy. Ownership and voting rights and a way to talk, so you just need to build the incentives. You just need to build the things around it that explain it's a democracy. So you have to explain to people how they engage with that environment, and they have to feel part of it, and they have to feel that they can actually have a voice, and they have to want to voice their opinions, and that voice has to be meaningful, and they have to be able to propose things that are going to take that group somewhere. So you have some sort of flywheel that goes in there where you are progressing the business or the opportunities in that group. If it's a social group, then it's social opportunities. If it's a business, it's the business opportunities. Now, I think that's really interesting, because not that can't happen in the real world, but then again, in the real world, you sit around the tables or you have video conference meeting, but you need to have shareholders. It's kind of harder. You need to have commonality of place and time. Commonality of place and time is that big thing that makes us analog mostly, and we try to fight this with new technologies, with video conferencing and virtual meeting rooms and all sorts of things, but in effect, it's still difficult. Now, that's what I think being digitally native will solve, and that's what I think in the future, Metaverse and all sorts of DAO scenarios with an inherent digital tokens, digital currencies, kind of free us all from those limitations. Anyway, that's kind of a vision for me at the moment. And I agree, it is not a reality as yet, but it's a reality right now where some experiments are conducted and they are going in that direction. So, I think we should have a bit of faith, and there's something there that's really interesting that we can all work towards. So criticize me if you think so, and please comment below. I think DAOs, the closest model I'm thinking of that matches a DAO is a cooperative. You have stakeholders in a business, and say all the farmers get together and they want to sell their milk. And in New Zealand, we've got a big example of that called Fonterra. They create a cooperative model. They create a Fonterra. And the Fonterra is now in charge of collecting the milk, distributing the milk, marketing the milk, and exporting the milk. So there you go. A DAO is a Fonterra. And all the farmers have tokens. they get a right to vote, and the amount of milk that they sell to the cooperative guides the amount of tokens they've got, the number of votes they've got, and that they express their concerns. They have, and then we fall back on the democracy workbook, playbook, and you just need to define that. Now I've heard today in the podcast, what was that called? The podcast that the new guys from Bankless are doing this. It's called Layer Zero. I was listening to that. They're talking about modular DAOs. Modular DAOs, an interesting concept. But what they're saying basically is there's not one DAO. It's not one DAO, one group that controls everything. It's not all of the community that should have all the tokens. And maybe you break it down. Maybe you have people with particular skills have particular tokens, particular types of decisions. People with other types of skills have other tokens. And there's a mix of those tokens, and the modular DAO has actually many DAOs within the DAO that are responsible for it. Makes sense. Why not? HR department, finance departments, commercial, marketing. You have different departments, and in the board, you have people with different set of skills. So maybe we have some, because we're talking big communities, because maybe we can actually have subsets. Why not? These are things that need to be trialed and tested and bulletproofed. But interesting experiment anyway. So this is my take on DAOs and Web3. In a world where I think we're going to see the content creator economy develop, and those content creators will be able to own a little bit of that ecosystem in which they operate through the use of DAOs and governance tokens. And so I think we're going to see that develop. I sometimes think that when you have this whole discussion about minimum wages, or what was that big discussion going on a while back about how you're going to have some digital income, because people are no longer feeling useful, and there's no longer jobs. There are more and more things that are getting done in that space that people will I'm sorry, I'm just trying to talk. People will have more and more situations where they don't really have the industrial revolution and such, and the economy doesn't really offer work and opportunities anymore. So you have more and more situations where the community needs to support people in a different way. So we were creating value through work and industry, and now we don't create the value in the same ways because there's more AI, more automation, etc. So we need to think about another way of having an income for people. Well, I think the answer is not there yet, but I think crypto and that DAO and this content creator economy is actually maybe the answer to that. It's a long stretch right now, but maybe that's going to connect somehow someday in the future. And this is the answer to it. So thanks for listening. This was a short one, and it's really good talking to you from New Zealand, sunny New Zealand today. We keep having showers, and so I keep closing the roof and I keep opening it. So thanks for listening. Talk soon. Bye. Thanks a lot for watching. If you want to find out more, please go to SymbionIQ.com. There you'll find all the socials and the different ways you can follow us. In the meanwhile, I would really appreciate if you could subscribe, help the algorithm up by clicking like. And if you want to make some comments, please don't hesitate. I'll try to read everything and answer everyone. If you find this interesting, don't hesitate to share it with a colleague or a friend. That always helps spread the word. And that's all for me today. So see you in the next episode.